What's going on, guys? My name is Jack. Welcome back to another video here on my channel. Today's video is going to be freelancing vs remote freelancing. Just a quick definition. Freelancing is sort of getting involved with clients and not actually sort of having any necessary long-term contract or obligation or anything like that. That's about the roughest definition you're gonna get around here or anywhere on the internet, right? But essentially it's working with people on sort of a short-term basis potentially. I've worked with clients for like 13 months before, but also if we're talking in the grand scheme of life and careers, a 13-month relationship is still considered a short-term relationship, right? So freelance is not necessarily some set-in-stone relationship, right? Freelancing, hopping from relationship to relationship, project to project, right? And remote freelancing is the exact same thing, just remote. So freelancing would be, say I'm a videographer, I go film a video for a company, right? I then physically go to that company, I have the meeting, we then set a date, I come back, I film it, I come to my office, I edit it. Remote is I talk to that client over the phone. Hey, how's it going? Boop, 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 boop. And we just agree on the phone, and then they send me the files. It's done remotely, right? Remote. I'm sure you know everybody knows about a remote, right? Not in person, okay? So that's the basic, rough, rawest definition you're ever gonna get of freelancing versus remote freelancing. And today, I am gonna basically break down the difference. Well, I just did. I'm gonna break down the kind of bonuses and the negatives, right? Or we're gonna explore them. I probably haven't even known about all the bonuses and the negatives, right? I'm just gonna be talking based on my 2.5 years of freelancing. Started 2017 properly. I flirted, if you will, with freelancing for a year or so before that by doing a few projects. My older brother used to work at a startup in New York. He now works at Microsoft. He used to work at a startup company in New York. And I live in England, by the way. So he hired me because I was the video kid to do a couple little, what's called press videos and promo videos to demonstrate the app, which was called Roger, that he worked with, which was the startup company in New York. So that was one of my first freelance projects. Also, when I was a kid, like 14, 15, I used to make banners and little gaming intros and stuff like that for people's YouTube channels for little $5, $20, stuff like that. So, you know, I'd flirted a bit, but 2017 is when I properly started freelancing to the point where by the end of 2017, I was shooting videos for businesses, whether it be nightclubs, whether it be, pop-up stalls, all sorts of, sort of small business type of stuff, and then also doing remote video editing on the internet for YouTubers, social media pages, etc. So that was 2017 when I really made my way in. A little bit of backstory, a little bit of credentials. Now, what's the difference? I have been freelancing for 2.5 years now, properly, like I said, for a while before that, but properly 2.5 years, enough to notice a few differences. Now, the differences mainly revolve around what type of person you are. After 2.5 years, remote freelancing was such an amazing platform to make money and actually be able to support myself while I was building other streams of revenue, etc. And, it was a wonderful opportunity, and it's something that anybody can tap into. But for a low attention span person like myself, I've realized after 2.5 years of freelancing that freelancing in person is a little bit more to my liking because I get to see the project through start to finish. I go to the company, for example, car dealership I shot 4 months ago, right? Go to the company, meet with the clients. Shout out to Dean, great guy. Sit down with them, have a 2-hour meeting. They show me around the company. We plan the videos mentally, get a rough plan of it. I then go to the office. They then come, they pick me up, or I transport myself. We shoot the videos. Great, nice big shoot, having fun. I bring a behind the scenes person so I can make vlogs for it on the channel. Go watch those vlogs, great vlogs. And we do the whole thing. I come down, I edit it, I send it back. Awesome, this is amazing. Let's make more. Great, we then go on, we make more. I've seen that project through from start to finish, right? To a character like me, who is a pretty low attention span character, right? I sort of prefer that, okay? Don't get me wrong, remote freelancing has its benefits, but that's one of the benefits for me, is for a low attention span type of character, instead of just getting sent the files and editing it on my workstation here, seeing that all the way through, I'm more invested in the footage I'm even editing in the first place, right? But this is coming from a guy who really edited for people on the internet as his sole income for quite a long time to figure out that that's actually a personal preference of mine. And also, I'm recently exploring a new kind of philosophy of don't let a door close behind you. So actually, I'd stopped remote freelancing as much. The last remote freelance project I did before actually this past couple days of reapplying for some stuff was a project I did for a Australian flooring company in Mackay called Choices Flooring, right? Edited that video up, nice $500 project US, so that was about three something UK, right? Three whatever. I don't know. The exchange rates actually changed a lot since I did that project over a month ago, so probably different today than it was then. But over 300 pounds for the project, right? And that's what's nice is you can work with any random company over the internet based on them just seeing you and liking your approach, and then actually sending you footage for you to edit, turn into a video, and obviously you could probably retain more clients doing remote as well. Then you can probably just working on a one-on-one basis with people if you have to allocate a certain amount of time to going and filming and stuff like that as well, right? But one of the huge kind of areas the remote freelancing has drilled up is these digital nomads. And there's actually a big conversation around these people who, they might spend a month in Thailand, a month in Australia, a month here, a month there, and a month there too, because all their work revolves around the internet, right? And that's one of the most attractive things about being a remote freelancer is the fact that you can take your income wherever you go. If you're client-based in terms of location, for example, I'm leaving Devon right now. I lived in the countryside of England and I'm moving to London. Now, that's a no-brainer because there's far more opportunity in London. If I've gotten anything done down here, I'm gonna get 10 times done up there. But in theory, I'm now leaving behind my clients that could hit me back in the future for more work down here. And obviously it's not the furthest journey, 3-hour train. Maybe I commute if the price is right, etc. And it's doable. But you are more location-based when you're normal freelancing. When you're remote freelancing, you can pick that up, you can go anywhere. As long as I got my laptop, I can get up and I can go to China tomorrow, and they have limited internet, but I'm sure they probably support Upwork. So as long as Upwork and the internet works to a certain extent, I can make money out there and I can be a digital nomad. And that's part of this digital nomad thing, where there's actually this whole conversation about how do you tax theyese people, because they're 1 week here, then they're a month here, then, they're jumping all over the place. They're not necessarily collecting a steady paycheck in a certain country, which makes it black and white. All right, you pay England taxes because you're making money in England. There's certain little things like that. But I think freelancing versus remote freelancing, both are extremely attractive. In my opinion, more attractive than a normal job because you could have a whole bunch. Like I said, I've worked with clients for 13 months before, right? That is one of my longer relationships. But 13 months in terms of like an experienced freelancer probably isn't the craziest relationship, right? That's just like an average thing. And ideally, like the way you really make freelancing into sort of like a significant thing you can rely on is stacking up these recurring clients. It's getting one client who you start working with, who you perform, let's say, 2 videos a week or whatever the case may be. You have a set amount of orders or something like that, and the videos are coming in consistently, and that you're now the video person in-house, so to speak, but really remote on the internet. And you can have a whole bunch of these clients. You know what I mean? You could just have literally, for me, I target specifically, or I've had a lot of luck targeting specifically YouTube-related jobs because of obviously, I have an amazing track record, just to be real, based on me being a person who understands the platform YouTube and can therefore positively affect somebody else's content who's making content for YouTube, right? So I think that's obviously, a pretty interesting area where you can have a lot of luck if you just sort of really double down on the area where you clearly have the most believable, most kind of respected track record. And, that's a couple different thoughts and opinions on remote freelancing versus normal freelancing. The way I see it, right, is you just have to understand what type of person you are. I know so many people who would probably despise the normal freelancing where you have to go and have the meeting with the client, then you have to come back, shoot the videos, everything like that, right? I know plenty of people who would actually, and maybe you're one of them watching this, whether you're going yes or no, they would not prefer that. They would much prefer to just to be sent everything on the internet and sort of crack on. And I know countless people who are doing phenomenal doing that. And that's where it comes down to just knowing yourself, right? For me, I know I'm attention span lacking for sure. It's never been a good attention span. Every teacher in school used to call me an attention seeker because I would just sit there and, I would get bored and just start sneaking attention. That's exactly what it was. They had it spot on, of course, because my attention span just wasn't really there, And I knew myself very well. And also, I was able to get extreme context on the other side by remote freelancing for ages. But I'm not a big fan of closing doors behind you. So actually, I got a little inspired the other day by hearing some people talk about this philosophy of don't let the previous door close in terms of a work basis. Obviously, you know, in real life, if you have a negative experience, maybe it is good to put that in the past. But in terms of a work environment, I'm not going to let Upwork go away, despite the fact that I don't love remote freelancing as much as I love going, you know what I mean, hand-to-hand combat, if you will, and actually doing that in real life. I'm not going to let that door close, and I've actually reconnected with a client now who I'm going to start doing remote video editing for again, because why not? At the end of the day, Gary, I'm going to get to you next, all right? Let me finish up with the people. Gary V's jumping at me. And basically, that sort of threw me off a little bit, but whatever I was saying, I'm sure it was impactful and a good point. And that's a little bit cocky, but fuck it, it is what it is. It's a Monday, people. Let's start this week off right with a positive attitude. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you. I've been Jack, at ItsJackCole on Instagram, social media, all that type of beautiful, 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 beautiful stuff. Shout me. I respond to everybody every single time. And bada bing, bada boom. That's another video. See you guys tomorrow.